Hey friends, welcome back to OG Universe. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so excited to be bringing you this series of reviews on the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Crisis on Infinite Earths Wave. Oh, I am so excited to have this figure set in my possession. These guys were scheduled to come out here at Canadian Retail August the 9th, and they came a lot early. They came to my GameStop June the 25th. Very excited to be getting this figure wave. I thought for sure these guys would elude me because they were McFarlane store exclusive in America. And I feel really bad for my fellow collectors in America where they had to pay $40 American for this figure. And we in Canada got them at GameStop for $29. So it's a phenomenal price. Basically, it's a standard price for your Build-A-Figure wave with those extra pieces. In Canada, you're getting a McFarlane figure, a basic standard one, for about $26, sometimes $22. So it kind of hit and miss sometimes what you get. But most of the stuff I purchase is from GameStop. I'm not sponsored by GameStop. I got a GameStop like literally 10 minutes away from my house. So I go in there quite often. I do all of my pre-orders from that store. There's phenomenal staff, some awesome people that work there. They become friends. And I'm really happy that we have a really good connection to get these awesome figures and bring these reviews to you guys. And of course, add some extra figures into my collection and build up this DC multiverse that, man, it's pretty phenomenal. So let's see what we got in the packaging here. So you got that standard bigger window box for the Build-A-Figure pieces. You got that really nice George Perez artwork of Earth-2 Superman. It's a little bit of an older version. This one here does have a lot of that white in his temples. He's got a bit more wrinkles. Some really nice artwork though. You do get a display stand. You don't get the flight stand, which is a little bit of a shame because I love having my Superman with the flight stand. On the side, Superman of Earth-2, Crisis on Infinite Earths. And on the back, you get a picture of the monitor. You're building this figure, some stunning George Perez artwork as well. On the side here, you got the pieces that are included with each figure, where they all go. Cross-sell at the bottom of all the figures in the wave. You're also getting the monitor's arms, which are really nicely textured. There's some great texture going through there. This I'm not too crazy about. This sort of yellowish gold. I think I might repaint that into a brighter gold. You got the blue hands with tons of texturing as well. And then you get two additional hands for Superman, that flight pose or sprawled out hands. Really, they look kind of big, but they're not too bad. And they are sculpted in that really nice plastic, that more realistic human skin tone. And then, how apropos, Superman turned his back on us. But see, this guy won't, but look at this. This is the game changer that I'm talking about. You have a cloth wired cape, and it actually has this giant Superman logo on the back of it. It's a really nice touch. I really appreciate that. Now, let's turn this guy around. So we're going to talk about the cape later, but man, this figure is imposing. It's really striking, and it's exciting to see what we're going to see with this body buck. Now, McFarlane has used a lot of different body bucks for a lot of different characters, and sometimes they're just a one-off. One point in contention that really think that they should have used this body buck more often was the Black Lightning body buck. It is phenomenal. They used it for the Speeding Bullets Superman Batman figure. And that was an awesome figure. So hopefully this one does not get cast to the side. I think this would be a great replacement for the Hush infected body buck that we've seen a lot of Superman figures on. I think this just speaks leaps and bounds above that figure in terms of proportion, stylization, and just the overall fluidity of articulation. Now let's take a look at that head sculpt. And the head sculpt is just beautifully done. Again, cast in that really nice realistic skin tone plastic. The eyes are painted just tremendous. It's looking like just piercing at your soul, man. It's deep stuff. And I like how they didn't go overboard with the white on the temples. They did a little bit of gray, some whiskers of gray, which is okay. But the face is sculpted with a lot of detail, a lot of attention. You got some wrinkles, this Superman's been around for a while, and that's really cool to see. And what I really appreciate, the way the cape is tucked into the neck. It looks just phenomenal, seamlessly done. And of course, this body buck as well, like I talked about. It's muscular, it's proportionate, looks really good. You see the fabric wrinkles in the underoos, so to speak, the legs. And they didn't I kind of appreciate this because sometimes McFarlane does that McFarlaneization and adds all these panel lines and everything else. Sometimes that works fantastic. I really like it. But for something like this, which is a really clean, classic Superman, I'm glad they didn't do any embellishments whatsoever. They gave us that classic belt as well. Yeah, it kind of sucks that they didn't finish painting the belt. But I think I got a reasoning for that, and we'll talk about that later. The boots look fantastic. I really like the way they're sculpted with that little divot there. That looks fantastic. Now, one thing I've heard a lot of people say, and I've watched a ton of reviews on these figures because I'm so excited for them, that they didn't like this S logo. A lot of them had like really washed out colors on it. Mine, both of them, are very vibrant. Yeah, I did pick up a second one of these figures because, you know, this is an important figure to me. And I wanted to have another one. And both of them, you know, they look great together. They both have that really nicely painted well, not sculpted, but the S logo. And it looks fantastic. I really appreciate the way it's simplistic because when I look at this figure, I don't see like Christopher Reeves. I don't see like a really artistic interpretation from the comic books. I almost see basically from the body, not the head. The head, I definitely see George Perez, but this body buck, it reminds me of the first serialized TV version of Superman, that George Reeves Superman. He was kind of a bigger dude, bigger body. And this clean aesthetics on the costume reminds me of that costume. Of course, the cape was nowhere near its full, but the S logo was very reminiscent of this. Just kind of like, not printed, just sewed on. And it wasn't like a raised sculpted texture, anything like that. I kind of appreciate that simplistic approach to this version of Superman. Holy, all right, still, I look at this and I'm just kind of blown away how well done it is. Now the cape, let's talk about this cape. On the back, you do have that massive S logo. I think it puts off a lot of people. They weren't too happy about it in a lot of the reviews I saw, but I do like it. I like having this, you know, kind of printed on version of the S logo. It's nice, big, popping, sets it apart. And what I also like is the fabric itself. The fabric itself does have some really nice quality to it. It's not super thin. It's not really too thick, so it's not movable, but it has a bit of kind of like a stylization on the inside here, a pattern going on. And this here, you got your wire bendy cape. So you can get this guy into any kind of pose you can think of here. Like, man, you can have him just billowing in the wind, playing around with it. I mean, it's so damn cool. I absolutely love this. Now, this is the first time I'm getting any kind of wired cape in my figures. You know, a lot of the premium high-end import figures have this as a standard kind of thing, the Mezco stuff as well. But unfortunately, it's just kind of out of my price range. And the way I collect, I like going deep into a collection, collecting pretty much everything, especially with the DC universe. I love it. And to imagine getting like about 200 Mezco figures at about 150 bucks a pop Canadian, I can't afford that. I don't know how many people can, but I'm just really happy that this, for a $29 figure, we're getting a beautifully wired cloth cape. Just awesome. My hat's off to you, McFarlane Toys. Finally, a really striking Superman and some beautiful details that you guys didn't skimp out on. Really appreciate that. So let's take a closer look at some of the articulation this bad boy has. Now the head, it doesn't give you the best range of motion. I think, you know, you got an easy fix for that. You can swap out the ball peg, give him a little bit of extended neck peg to give him a little more fluid articulation. Does have a little bit of side attitude, not a hell of a lot. He does have that spacer joint, which really works well. Sometimes it's a little too stuck into the body. It doesn't even give you that extra bit of articulation, but this one definitely does. You got a lot of good range in there. Then you got the bicep cut, double jointed, ratcheted elbows, ball joints at the fist. And one thing I gotta say about these fists, they're not the watermelon fists. They're not huge, gigantic hands that make it look just unproportional like the Page Puncher Superman. I really do like that. The torso articulation, it almost has a different kind of segmentation for the ball joint. We've seen the Hush figure had that ball joint. We did that toy surgery on it. We pulled it out because it was stuck in really far into the abdomen and the chest. And this almost seems like it has a bit of a two-joint rocker, so to speak. So it's kind of interesting there. I don't know if I'm gonna do some toy surgery, maybe. Check it out to see what's going on, because I'm very curious about that stuff. And then we got the ball joint at the waist. We got the ball joints at the hips. Really nice sculpting there too. Looks really good. Double jointed ratcheted knees. You got these beautiful sculpted boots, and you got that sculpted ball joint for the ankle, toe articulation, the rocker, pin movement, everything going on. So you got a super articulated Superman with some fluid articulation, nothing holding it back. It looks phenomenal. And man, it's just a fantastic figure. Now let's bring in some size comparisons, and let's bring in one of my favorite figures. This here is my customized Superman, my definitive Superman. It's using that Hush body buck, and seeing these two guys together, you really see how McFarlane in just a few years can really kind of amp up what they're doing with the figure technology. I know it's kind of a broad statement to say figure technology, but you look at this Superman, it's a phenomenal Superman. The sculpted details, the work. Now, I did stretch out the torso, did give him an extended neck pay to get better fluid motion in the neck, but this was one of the best figures. But when you look at this one, there's a huge difference between these two. This Superman is almost the perfect body buck. We talked about that with Animal Man. That is a figure that, man, it translates, that body buck translates into so many figures, quick, seamlessly, the heroic proportions. This is just taking it to a whole nother level, with this Earth-2 Superman. It is phenomenally detailed, proportionate. It looks so good. And for the longest time, this was my definitive Superman. Now I'm thinking this might be my definitive Superman because it is so damn impressive. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with this body. We're going to get, hopefully, a modern Superman. Hopefully, we're going to get a sculpted S logo like this one, but a little bit better, not so drippy there. And yeah, it's very impressive to see how far things have come. Let's bring in some other figures. We got this classic Silver Age Green Lantern. Again, this is how I kind of see Superman, as a big buff dude. Green Lantern, he's a phenomenal figure. This is on that Animal Man, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold body buck. And this is a great body buck. It's well proportioned. I've heard a lot of people say they don't like the arms. They think they're too short. I think it suits it just perfectly. But this Superman, man, it just kills. It kills, and it looks great with this kind of classic Green Lantern. Can you imagine we're doing a classic Justice League from the 70s or 60s in the Silver Age? That would be really cool to start doing something like that. Another figure I want to bring in that I absolutely love and can kind of fit in with that kind of classic look, and that's Plastic Man. This Plastic Man Build-A-Figure from the JLA wave was so damn good. That was such a fun wave of figures. Even that Batman in all black, you know, after we did the head swap, I think it improved it. Putting that Jim Lee gritting teeth sculpt on there, it did kind of loosen it up for me to make it a little bit better. I do like it. I think that body buck is just, I don't know, a little played out. Could see a bit of improvement on it. And I think with that first appearance, Batman from Detective Comics 27, I think that year 2 body buck is pretty damn good, and we'll see how things go with that. But this Plastic Man is phenomenal. Definitely worth buying all 4 figures for to get this Plastic Man. One of my absolute favorites. Check out my review on that guy. And then we got a Batman. Let's bring in a Batman. This is a Batman I've customized. This is the Ben Affleck Batman. Did a few tweaks on it. Swapped out the head with the Arkham City 2.0 version. Really cool stylized look. I did put on these shorts. These are from the Jim Lee Gritting Teeth Hush 2-pack. I'm kind of having second thoughts about this this belt. It looks a little too cumbersome. The pouch is a little too big, especially on this slimmer body buck. So we might do some toy surgery. I got some ideas kicking in the head. Stay tuned for that, but I do like the way this Batman looks. And this is my first Batman with a cloth cape, not a wired cape. First appearance Batman's going to have that, and I can't wait to open that guy up. And let's take a look at some Superman figures. Again, this here is that Return of Superman. Now, this is a big boy. This is like that He-Man body buck. It is massive, and I really grown to like this figure quite a bit, especially the fact that it's just a chunky action figure. It's really fun. Harkens back to some of the days when you were a kid going through the toy store and getting an action figure. Really has that eye-catching quality to it. I did swap out the neck pegs to give him a bit more articulation in the neck because it was pretty limited. And so now he's got a lot more range of movement. And I really do like the colors on these two as well. This one is a little more of a matte finish. This is a little brighter, kind of a little bit of a gloss to it. Not terribly, but I like the way these two guys look. Big buff. and kind of a medium buff. Still looking really sharp. And then we got this guy here. This is one of my favorite figures. I think this might be my more contemporary Superman. The body buck is a bit thinner, of course. This is from the Page Punchers Superman. Redone, smiley face Superman. It's that classic Superman is what they're calling it on the packaging. Swapped it out with the head sculpt with the Superboy Prime head. Love the way this figure turned out. I really like the lighter colors, a brighter red, bright yellow. And man, it just looks awesome. Seeing these two together, definitely see Superman and possibly Superboy. I think those two on a shelf would look really nice together. Definitely for that whole Crisis on Infinite Earth with Superboy and Earth-2. I think that would be really fun to have on a display shelf. But man, he looks awesome. And one more figure I wanted to bring in, and that is one of my favorite Batman figures, just for, you know, comparison, so to speak, because this is a big hulking Batman. This is the Hush Jim Lee blue Batman, and these two figures look pretty good together. Now this one almost seems a little more contemporary, of course, because it is, but the color schemes as well. It's a darker blue, dark gray, just kind of looks, you know, dirty 30s. It has a grimy kind of gritty look to it, where this is such a bright, colorful Superman. Very interesting to see these two contrasting together. But yeah, guys, as you can see, I'm really impressed with this figure. It's definitely one of the most high quality standout figures in this wave so far. And we're going to be compiling a list of the top 10 figures from McFarlane Toys for the half of the year. And I think this might be definitely on that list in some position. Really impressed. Guys, I know it's expensive in America. Canadian collectors, we got a chance to get this figure. I would rush out to GameStop, get it. It is phenomenal. Definitely gonna have a lot of fun doing some toy surgery, swapping out some heads. We're gonna do a lot of shorts, and stay tuned for that. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.